Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Kingdoms. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a great day, and in today's episode, I want to add a couple houses to our little fishing village. These cows are very loud. I want to add a couple houses to the fishing village. I'm thinking one like over here, and one maybe not really right here per se, but maybe like maybe going back farther. Maybe what we'll do is we'll kind of bring the pathway around this way and then up, and we'll start putting houses like up on top of the hill and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know, I'll figure it out as I go. But while I'm doing that, I do kind of want to do the comment of the day right off the bat. So we're going to get into that because it'll give me something interesting to talk about while I am building these houses. So that's kind of the plan. I also very well may need to make more, I may need to go gather more oak. But we'll get to that point if we need to. So let's jump into the comment of the day. And it says, "Hey Wells, you've told us about your strengths. Now can you share to us your weaknesses?" And that's from Shandy Rago. Shandy, if I butchered your name, I'm very sorry. I'm terrible with names. But I think I'm going to assume it's pronounced Shandy Rago. Anyway, so yes, the last couple episodes, we've kind of been talking a little bit about like my military background and the military in general and kind of who I am as a person and all that kind of fun stuff. And I've talked about certain strengths that I have as far as like confidence and, different things. We actually need a little bit of grass as well, just a bit, so I can kind of slightly modify this hill. Let's go like here. And maybe bring that one over as well. Yeah. There we go. As for weaknesses, I certainly have them. Like, no doubt. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is good at everything. And I'm certainly not without my weaknesses. So yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. There are a number of them, and some of them are things that, wouldn't necessarily be considered weaknesses if you look at them like at face value, but then when you kind of think about them, they end up, in many ways kind of being weaknesses. For example, I work probably too hard. And that sounds like something where you're like, oh, yeah, that's a job interview type answer right there, Oh, what are your weaknesses? What do you think is your greatest weakness? Oh, I work too hard. Yeah, okay. But it's true. I spend way too much time. I get very focused on my work, and I kind of get like tunnel vision, and to the detriment of everything else in my life. That happens often. Like, it's not at all uncommon for me to wake up in the morning, go into my, get a cup of coffee, go into my office, and basically be in my office until I go to sleep at night. That's not at all uncommon for me. And that's kind of a bad thing, like that certainly I don't spend nearly as much time with my wife as I probably should. And she thankfully is incredibly supportive, and lets me get away with that. But, I'm looking at this house, maybe, let's think about this for a minute. Maybe what we can do is do something like this, and then we'll add like a little back area over here. Perhaps that might work. I'm just trying to, we give it kind of a weird shape, but that might do the trick. And then this we would build up. I'm just looking at it. Yeah, I think we could make this work. This will be fine. Anyway, so like that is definitely a thing that I really should spend more time with my wife and my family. But often I get complete tunnel vision, and I'm just like, nope, I want to work. I want to do my thing. I want to do this YouTube thing, and that's all I want to do right now, and that's all I want to think about right now, and I don't want to think about other things. And that's in many ways kind of a bad thing, like it. I focus so much on YouTube and all the stuff that goes along with it that very often it cuts out other kind of important parts of my life. I really don't have that much of a social life I don't often go out with friends or anything like that because I'm too busy working. That's all I do. My entire life consists of basically just working nonstop. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. Additionally, I am someone, I said in the last episode that I'm someone who kind of thrives in chaos. I love working in a high stress, high tempo environment. And that is very true. What that also means is that I hate organization. I am very much someone who lives in the moment, in many ways. I'm someone who, I don't want to plan ahead. I don't want to think about things ahead of time. I just want to, I wing it. I wing it all the time, way more than I should be winging it. Looks like it's about to be night. Can we sleep yet? And that can cause problems as well. I don't want to say I hate organization as far as my office is clean. It's not like mess, but just planning especially. I'm not good with planning. I hate planning. I'm often someone who puts off planning things until the very last possible minute. My wife will say, hey, we need to do this thing. And for example, the wedding that I was at last was it last weekend or the weekend before? Either way, a couple weekends ago, I went to a wedding up in Wisconsin. I'd known for months that I was going to that wedding. I had known since May, April, something like that. And we didn't actually reserve our hotel until 2 days before we were going up to Wisconsin because I just kept putting it off. And my wife was, I don't want to use the word nagging, but let's say reminding me for a good 3 months before I finally sat down to help pick out a hotel. I'll be entirely honest. If it weren't for my wife, our bills would probably never be paid on time. Not because we don't have the money to pay our bills, but because I'm just horrible at remembering to do things, remembering appointments. And if I don't have a calendar, if I don't write dates down in my planner, I will completely forget about them. I'll space out, and it happens. I'm just that type of person. I'm not someone who is good at planning ahead. I am someone who rather thrives in a chaotic environment and likes to make stuff up as I go. And that means that I deal very well with high stress situations, but it also means that I often overlook things and end up doing things that are more forgetting to do things that are important. I don't want to say doing things that are irresponsible because that's not entirely true. It's more forgetting to do things that are my responsibilities, such as, paying bills. Thankfully, my wife takes care of all of that for us, or I would be in trouble. So that's a huge one. I am, as far as other weaknesses, I am extremely direct and blunt in conversation from time to time, to the point where it almost comes off as me being a jerk, or being very abrasive and confrontational. Which isn't necessarily my intent, but I'm in some environments, I am not one to sugarcoat things, especially when it comes to the military. I'm not one to mince words. I just kind of say whatever I think needs to be said, and sometimes, it rubs people the wrong way, I guess would be the way to say it, because they think I'm just trying to be a jerk and call them out, when really I'm trying to tell them that, well, okay, so I'm trying to call them out, but I'm calling them out because they're doing something wrong. Or at least in my opinion. I'm also, let's see, other significant weaknesses. I do kind of suffer from what my dad always used to call smartest guy in the room syndrome. And I'm sure some of you probably kind of know what this is. It's when you're in a group of people and you've got kind of that idea that you know the right way to do things and people should listen to you because you know better than them. I often have that sort of a thing going for me. I often think that in a group I'm the smartest guy in the room, which is not often true. But I've got sometimes I have, so to speak, a little bit too much swagger in my step. I'm certainly a little bit cocky, a little bit arrogant. I've learned over the years to kind of keep that in check for the most part, but sometimes it still shows. I'm not always the most humble person in the world, despite what you might think from watching my YouTube videos. And that's just something that I've kind of always been that way, and I've learned to control it over many years, but sometimes I still it still shows. Let's see. We need some spruce stairs and some Wow, I'm almost completely out of cobblestone? I'm almost completely out of cobblestone. That blows my mind. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to look at this. We're gonna I don't have enough cobblestone stairs to actually do what I need to do. This is shocking to me. Okay, well, that's fine. So let's do this. Actually, let's lay out the foundation of the other house. Because I mean, this style of house is pretty straightforward. You guys have seen it before. I've built a couple of these now. So I think we'll put another one maybe. I wonder if I could do a house on an angle. Like a little smaller one. That would be interesting. Probably easier said than done, though. And if we're gonna do it, we need to scoot it like right up against this. Right? So the house would be kind of like this. And we'll try to keep it pretty small, I think. It would be an interesting... It's an interesting exercise to see if we can pull something like this off. It'd be a very small house here. Log here, right? It's going to be this center part right here that's the problem. Maybe if we... I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think if we're going to build a diagonal house, it's got to be much larger than this, and I don't think this is the spot to do it. We'll want to try something like that at some point, though, for sure. Like, that could be a fun little challenge, is trying to make a diagonal house that actually looks, decent. Anyway, so let's go maybe here, right? And we'll have... Where did that come to? Let's bring it this way instead. I'm just trying to figure out, right? We'd have a house here. And then maybe we'll bring it to like over here. So we'll kind of bring that up. And then this will be the interior space, which isn't a lot of interior space, but it'll be enough for us to kind of get something going, I think. Yeah, that'll work. And then we just got to figure out... Our door probably should go here, and then this will be a window. Right? So we'll go boop, boop, boop. And let's actually make a bunch of these. There we go. So we'll have a door there, and then this will kind of come up like so. Yeah. This is fine. Right? And we'll have another house roughly about this shape. We'll build up these little bits over here. That's gonna kind of intersect with the roof over there, but that's fine. And there. So that'll be kind of the shape of the house. And then it'll have up on top. Can I make that jump? Oh, I totally can. we'll have the roof kind of coming up here. And we can just kind of do here, 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 and there. And these are supposed to be kind of smaller houses. I don't know if they're necessarily going to serve a proper purpose in the village other than to just kind of fill space. Yeah, that'll work. And then I just need to go get the cobblestone so we can actually like fill out the roof properly the way we want to. So it'll match up with these other ones. And that'll do, I think. And then we can maybe take this road and bring it out this way. And then this road will probably come out this way, right? Because the village is going to expand out to over here and out back there as we add more to it. I don't want this to be a super big village because it's supposed to just be kind of a small fishing village, but I want a few different houses in it and things like that. So that should do. But yeah, I think that is good. So now I think the next step is for me to go and apparently grind for some cobblestone. Surprisingly, that's not something I've had to do in a while because we actually have like no cobblestone. So kind of surprising. And then once I have that done, I'll start working on the roofs a little bit and we'll get back to our discussion. All right, guys, I am back. I've been away mining, doing some grind. We've got a fair amount of cobblestone. I also managed to get quite a bit of coal and redstone, a little bit of diamonds, some lapis. We're actually doing pretty well on iron. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks of iron, which is actually really important because I'm going to want to get into some technical stuff that will involve hoppers, and hoppers can get very expensive very quickly if you have a lot of them. But anyway, now that we have some cobblestone, I think it is definitely time to start framing out our roof. So let's grab like 6 stacks and let's turn those into stairs, I think. And then we can start kind of working on this roof a little bit here. Looks like it's actually about to be nighttime, unfortunately, but that's all right. We can just run in and take a nap real quick when the time comes. There we go. Let's do one of those. And of course, you're going to be stuck up there, aren't you? You jerk. Okay, that's fine. Let's just swing over here. There we go. We'll grab this. Actually, I might want to change up the front of this a little bit so it kind of matches with the back. That could be kind of cool. Let's go and sleep here real quick. And we'll see. Yeah, I think I would prefer it. I think the house would look a little bit more interesting if we had kind of a little bit of a different shape for it. So we'll do that. We were talking about strengths and weaknesses, and I did have a couple more that I wanted to kind of mention. So I already kind of talked about how, I'm one of those people that kind of lives in the moment, and I am not very good at long-term planning and, stuff like that. I'm also like, because I'm one of those people that like lives in the moment, I'm also very impatient. I'm a horribly impatient person. Let's kind of bring this out a little bit here. We'll just kind of take this bit and basically just go like so, and then up to here. We'll bring that out and we'll have our doorway right here. Wait a minute. Just kidding. That's not right. We'll have our doorway right here. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then this and this little bit here will become spruce. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm a very impatient person. I'm a horribly impatient person. I don't like waiting for anything, like ever. And it gets in the way of things sometimes. I'm very like, things need to happen and things need to happen right now. And why are we talking about it instead of doing it? And what's taking so long? Like I'm very, very impatient with a lot of different things. So that's certainly kind of a weakness in many ways as well. I'm not good at waiting for things. Let's see, what else? I am not very good at like expressing my feelings. I don't consider myself to be a very sensitive person. I'm very like, and my wife is actually very much the opposite. She is a very like sensitive sort of, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, she's very, I don't know how to explain it, but she's sensitive. I don't know. Is there another way to explain sensitive? But she's one of those types of people that like, little things like romantic gestures and, saying I love you and, cuddling and all this other kind of stuff. My wife is very much about that, and I am not. In fact, I am kind of the opposite of that, where I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't remember. I don't really care about like birthdays and special events and things like that. I just whatever. It's just another day. And my wife is the opposite, where like, if it's a birthday, it's a big deal. If it's any of these different things, like it's important. It's a super important thing, and we have to do something special. And I'm like, not really. I don't really care. It's interesting. Like I've mentioned my wife a few times in this video. It's interesting how different the two of us are. But I think it like works out because our opposites like complement each other. Like we make a very good team because the things that I'm not good at, like being organized and planning and, thinking responsibly like an adult, things like that are things that she is good at. That's stuff that she does all the time. And my wife is the type of person who makes lists for everything. Like, she'll make a grocery list, and then she'll make a grocery list for the next time that we're going to visit the grocery store in a few weeks, and she'll have it all on like an Excel spreadsheet. And, and I'm like, I'll just go to the grocery store and I'll wander around and find what I need. So it's interesting how different we are in that way. But I think I think our relationship works because of that difference, because we're so different. And as far as like the way that we think about things and the way that we look at things. And I think that's a good thing. But let's finish up these houses here. We should be pretty close. I don't think this is going to be enough stairs. Maybe it will. Let's just grab a couple more stacks of spruce logs just in case. We'll put that away and that away because I don't need it. And then I should have a crafting bench in here. Yeah, there we go. And let's get our roof all put in place. I will probably swap out this roof here for spruce at some point. I'll get around to it eventually. A lot of you have been saying that should be done so that, the houses look more consistent. And I agree. I think that's a good idea. But it's just something I haven't really gotten around to yet. We're going to need spruce slabs as well. Yeah, that's going to have to be a thing. Okay, that's easy. Let's just grab some spruce slabs. That should be enough, honestly. I'm just basically going to use them on the very top level of the roof, so that should be fine. Can we, like, make the jump? There we go. Grab our spruce slabs, and we'll have one here, and then one coming across up here as well. There we go. And then it's just a matter of getting the rest of this roof in place. But I think this house will look pretty good, primarily because we've made it kind of an interesting shape, and that's going to add a lot of interest to it rather than just making it a plain old rectangle, right? Just instead of a box, we actually have something a bit more interesting in shape than that. And I think that's very important when you're building houses. And, we've done this a lot in Kingdoms Season 1. We'll kind of come up with like a theme or an idea, sort of a block palette, a general style of build. And then from there, we'll just kind of do variations on the theme until we have as many houses as we want. But let's kind of take a look at this. I think, yeah, that's a lot more interesting than just a regular old box-shaped house. And there's a couple things we might end up doing. Like here, we might put in like a window, like up here, or something like that. Little things along those lines. But we'll do the detail work in a little bit. So I think that's all good. Now we need to deal with this house, and it's going to be very similar. We're going to have kind of this cobblestone outline on the roof, just like we did on the other houses. But I think we need to do something on this house to make it look a bit more interesting, because once again, this house is basically a box. It's just a plain old rectangle. And that's not necessarily a good thing. That's one of those things where, you know, if you want your builds to look interesting, you need to add something to it, to kind of give it some love, give it some detail, give it some interest. And just having a plain old box, I mean, it looks okay. You know, we've got a little bit of depth and stuff in here in the walls, but it could be a lot better. So what we'll do, we'll kind of outline our roof like so, and then I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll add like a chimney on the back, like over here, to kind of help it stand out a little bit, and just look a little bit better. I think that could be good. Oh, I just realized I did stairs, and all the other houses have slabs. That's okay. We'll deal with that momentarily. So let's go here, and let's kind of get this roof in place. I'm going to end up putting slabs, cobblestone slabs right here, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And I have a feeling that I'm probably going to run out of spruce stairs here. I was at 51. Yep, we are just barely going to run out. That's okay. I kind of expected that. So let's do this. Let's make a few more stairs. There we go. That should be enough for us to get the rest of this roof in place at least. And we'll just do. Oh, come on, come back, you. There we go. And we'll just kind of get everything put in place. So I think at this point, I need to finish up a couple details on the houses, you know, get the floors in place, get the windows going, do all that kind of different stuff. I'll probably add a chimney back here, maybe some other things, different stuff to just kind of dress it up a little bit and make it look a little bit better. Because it looks okay right now, but it's also pretty bland. And I think we can do, you know, something to make this pop out a little bit more. Maybe we'll add like some flowers or something. Let's put some slabs in here for a floor as well. There we go. That should be good. And then here and here, I think, is where we'll put the windows on this house. Just a little bit. And then this will be the chimney on the backside. So that'll kind of, yeah, that'll help it. Okay, cool. I'm going to get to work on kind of finishing up these houses. I'll be back with you very shortly. All right, I think I got the houses all finished up. So I think we're good. Inside, I did put a roof or a ceiling into all of them. I didn't really do like a proper interior, although this one does have like a little fireplace that I made out of stone bricks. On the backside, the chimney is relatively straightforward and simple, just stone brick going up and then slabbed off at the top. Nothing too fancy, but I think it works. And I also added a couple little leaves here and there and some other kind of stuff like that. Brought the pathways up to the door, which I think is important. And then this road will kind of wrap around here. And as I said, this road will kind of wrap around the other way. So the village is kind of taking shape. We're getting there. We've got kind of like a central area here around the well. I'll probably need to do something right in here to give us the sense that this is actually a town square. That's probably going to involve getting rid of this cow pen or moving it to somewhere else. But we'll get there eventually. Also, I still need to deal with these docks. The more I look at them, the less I like them. But we'll do something with those as well. Either way, we have a pretty nice pathway, and you can start to see the feel that we're getting here, right? You come up, and if you imagine houses kind of all along the little area, you can start to get a sense for how everything's going to kind of come together as we get more and more buildings and structures in here. And not all of these buildings and structures that we're going to add are going to be just for decoration. Like these two are really just for decoration. They don't really serve a purpose. Maybe I'll store my parrots in one of them just to get them out of my house because they're loud. But we'll probably add some other stuff. Now that I have some iron, I'll probably want to make an auto smelter, a super smelter, fairly soon, just so I can smelt large quantities of things without babysitting it. So that's going to be something we're going to want to do. It just requires a lot of iron because there's a lot of hoppers and some rail cart stuff going on there. So that'll be something we want to do. That'll go into some sort of a building. Other different things will have, buildings associated with them as well. It's just a matter of actually building those buildings, which is kind of what buildings are. You build buildings. Anyway, I digress. That, I think, is going to do it for today's episode, guys. I'm happy with our progress. We got 2 houses knocked out and added to the village, and we're starting to really get that feel as far as, this is a village, not just a couple of little houses that are kind of together. I think this is going to be a spectator mode screenshot. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for me. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.